everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here today, please do not forget to smash that subscribe button, and for all my returning subscribers, welcome to another video by your ultimate fave, who ultimately couldn't wait to tell this story time because one, I haven't had anything to eat all day because this is going to be a seriously big meal, and two, I have been dying to tell this story time because obviously I've been doing a lot of content work and I felt like it was about time I gave you guys a mukbang and story time because I haven't given you guys a good story time in a while. And I remember the last story time, people said I took a long time to get to the point. But before we get into what I'm eating, I just want to show you guys my t-shirt. So this is like a graphics t-shirt that I got from an Instagram boutique called Graphy Baby, I think it was. I'm not entirely sure, but they sent me this complimentary Aaliyah t-shirt because I'm really into like this whole, you know, baby girl thing. And then you guys know that I obviously got this Cuban link from Sleep Jewelry. Now I just want a Cuban link for my neck, actually. I don't know if this is actually an anklet or a necklace. Someone said, how surprised were you when you found out it was an anklet? And I'm like, this definitely can't be an anklet because my ankle is way smaller than my wrist, or maybe the same size, probably. But anyway, that's not the point. I just wanted to obviously give a shout out to South African brands. But anyway, let's talk about the mukbang. Before I get started, this is my first burger mukbang that I've done, I think ever in my channel. The only other mukbang that I did, and it was a burger, I think it was Junk Park. And now their burgers were good, but this is actually a brand new burger from Burger King. My friend Gift, Koza, love you. Giving you a whole shout out, Gift Koza, okay? Gift calls me and is like, Naledi, have you heard the tea? I'm like, wait, what tea? I don't understand. And then he's like, Burger King has a whole entire mozzarella burger. I'm like, say what? Who? Where? Me? I'm gonna be right there. I'm on my way. So, because you guys know I like cheese, I obviously got the new Burger King mozzarella burger. And no, this is really not a sponsored post. Gift actually knows I really have an addiction to mozzarella. So, and anybody who knows me actually knows I've got an addiction to mozzarella. So if you think it's a sponsored post, I'm hoping they sponsor me to eat mozzarella, okay? This is essentially what it looks like. It's written cheese lovers. That's me. And it smells good already. Oh! And then we've got the chips this side. And then I am gonna have some ketchup. So guys, I've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning, basically working content work. So I haven't had anything to eat because I knew I wanted to film a mukbang, but I really didn't know what I wanted to eat. And it was Gift whom I spoke to this morning that was like, dude, I literally just had that mozzarella burger, so I was like, ah man, let me just film a burger mukbang because I really haven't filmed one before. So I'm just gonna have a nice little french fry, or what we call chips. Before I say french fry, Aibo, it's America. Ah, Aibo. Let me have another one. One thing that Burger King gets right in comparison to a lot of other places, I'm not gonna include the other place, is that they get their chips crispy all the time, and I really like crispy chips. My brother, I'm not even focused on what you're saying, I just hear food in my tummy. Now you guys know before I get into any single story time, I have to give you guys a first bite, right? And oh, woo! Thank you, Jesus Christ, for coming up with such an amazing concept. I really love you, and I'll never do anything to hurt you again. Right. Now this is a double one. I was really hoping for a single, but they don't really have single. So here's a double one. I just want to zoom in so you guys can see what it looks like. Are you guys getting full view of this? Right. Okay. Now those are mozzarella cheese sticks and a double, I think Whopper. I don't think it's a Whopper though. Doesn't look like a Whopper. So I'm gonna have my first bite ready. It's overwhelming. I hold it upside down like Tumi103 on Twitter. Because you can't hold a burger upside right. Ew. When 2021? Oh. My God. What in the heavens? It's so... What? Who came up with this concept? I mean, I know it already exists. I mean, mozzarella cheese on a burger, but how dare you? I'm gonna finish this burger. Ha! Burger King! Look! I just need you guys to I just need you guys to look. I just need you guys to look at that goodness. I mean, Burger King, I just want us to sit down and have a conversation about why it took you guys over a year to come up with this concept and bring it this side. What did we do to deserve this? But anyway, let's get into the crux of the story. I've satisfied my craving, not enough, but I've satisfied it. Now, I really want to talk about what inspired me to tell the story time. Now, the story time is not your typical Naledi official funny story time, you know, with the elements of crazy, but this one is more so sad. But it was inspired by a trend that I saw happening on Twitter like a day or two ago. And one thing about me, I try not to engage in anything that has to do with anyone in the influencer space that I know or remotely get along with. So I will still keep to that, but I do think that it's time to highlight the truth about the industry that I work in, okay? And that's why I couldn't even wear eyelashes. I was just like, I'm gonna tell y'all the story, because I'm not trying to be cute for the story. It might not be funny. Or it might be funny, Sha. I don't know. I think about 2-3 days ago, I don't know what day I'm in today, but I think about 2-3 days ago, there was a podcast. On his podcast, there is another segment of a podcast called On the Table. And in that podcast, there are 4 women who are basically sitting, discussing current events, current affairs. Of which, look guys, I've never actually watched that segment of On the Table. I've never actually watched it, but I saw it trending on my timeline a few days ago. And basically the clips that were trending were of a specific influencer whose name I don't want to mention. No. She was called out for saying things that I wouldn't say politically, but from a societal point of view, were incorrect or were deemed as incorrect, because everyone is entitled to their opinion. But when you live in a country where certain things happen, you would expect as a female or a male, when put in a certain position, when you have a certain following, whatever, you're expected to be, I don't know, to be more sensible or to be more cognizant of what you say on social media. So I really don't want to get into it because that's not the crux of what I'm talking about. But in that clip, she was basically talking about fake industry friendships. In that clip, she went on to say, no, you know what, guys? I've been friends with actual celebrities. So like your Bonangs, your this, your this, your this. And those people, we share a really genuine friendship. Like, it's not consisted of snapping and constantly being seen with each other. We go out, we drink, we have a good time. And now bear in mind that this influencer has been in the game for quite a long time. So, and please guys, for comments sake, please do not say her name, I beg you, because if you do, I'll probably block you from this channel, because I really have no qualms with her. So I don't feel like she should be subjected to any more abuse, especially from the official gang. So she was talking about how celebrities in South Africa, or people regarded as celebrities, so your Bonangs, your Tando Tabetes, you know, the people that are genuinely at the top of the food chain, industry-wise, those people are genuine people, of which that statement I firmly believed. And then she started talking about the influencer industry and the influencer game is totally different. Those people are different. It's competitive, it's full of lies, people just want to be friends with you to climb the social ladder. And as much as I obviously understood why she caught fire for the other sentiments that she made, that particular one stood out to me because I thought I was the only one who saw or who noticed how fake the influencer industry is. And I use the word fake on purpose. Not for real, not for jokes, not for games, for real. Okay, fine, that happened. And then there was another incident on Twitter. Yo, now this one really messed with my emotions, because this one, it happened on a space and it happened so abruptly. But there was this lady who basically spoke about the loss of her child, and essentially she was speaking about a particular person and how she thought that person and her were friends, but then that person just happened to come into the space. There was a whole lot of back and forth, but you could tell that that impact or the end of that friendship had such a bad impact on her. But in the things that she mentioned within that space, she mentioned how people who reach a social status or a social point or are regarded as that admirable state suddenly change. Now, I can't answer on behalf of the person in question as well as this one that I've explained, but I definitely can say there are some truths to what they have shared, and I'm gonna start the story time, okay? And I'm just gonna jump right into it. I'm not even going to kiki, go to the top, laugh, go around. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm just gonna tell my story, eat my burger, and call it a day, and make you guys understand why I don't, one, collab with beauty influencers. There are only, if I'm not mistaken, 2 beauty influencers I've collabed with, and you guys all know who they are. And one of the reasons, okay, let me just put it like this. All of my collabs are very calculated, right? I don't collab for the sake of climbing up the social ladder. I don't collab for the sake of, I don't know, bringing awareness. Yes, I will collab if someone else needs my help to obviously get up, whatever. But I literally calculate my collabs. So there is a specific reason as to why I don't collab with beauty influencers in South Africa. Period. Point blank. Right? Look, maybe it'll change, but I have genuinely seen the real. I've literally been at the forefront and seen how South African influencers are. But the only reason I can back her up is because I've had my fair share of experiences. But everything that she said was correct about the influencer industry. Everything else that she said, that ain't none of my business. It's none of my business, none of my business. Okay, let me get into the burger and get started with the story. This story happened in 2019, and it was basically a situation that happened between Drake and I. And you know what, for the first time in a really long time, Drake is not the protagonist of the story. So Drake is not the bad guy as all my exes generally are. But he is the bad guy, but he's not the bad guy. So at that time in my relationship with Drake, whoever knows my story personally knows that Drake has actually put me through a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Like, it wasn't funny. So there was just a point where, like, he was starting to make a lot of money, and he was like really popular in the streets, right? Like, he was super popular. And like, please understand, I've made peace with all of this. And one of the reasons why I never wanted to tell the story was because it affected me so much to a point where I literally stopped being friends with influencers. Like, if you actually look at my scope of friends, my group of friends, people I call my friends, these are people that are completely like, they are social media, but they're trolls, but they're good friends of mine. None of them are literally prominent bad bees on like, you know, nothing. Because I've had my fair share of being friends with women who are desirable on social media, but they actually befriended me to go be with Drake. Yep. So what had happened was Drake and I were going through a tough time from 2018, right? There was a whole lot of infidelity involved, and for a large part of that year I just felt alone in our relationship. Like, I basically stayed with him. This is where people started thinking that he bought my car. Drake lived in the north and I'm from the south, and so because I was a very clingy girlfriend generally, I always wanted to be with him, so I would always be in the north. So it was as good as staying together. But I think he started just making so much money, getting cars, getting all that fame and attention from women, that I think he just started disregarding me. And that's okay. Men all go through that phase. I mean, it's not okay when it happens, but men go through that phase. It's okay. I've made peace with it, you know, but it happened. From 2016 and 17, our relationship was great. Our relationship took a plummet in 2018 and 2019, and when I said there were like external circumstances, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, he started getting really messy, and he started fucking around with a lot of women. And when I say a lot, I'm not saying like 2, 3, 5. There were a lot of women, and it started getting very risky. It started getting very, like, you know, that wasn't the context of what was going on here. But the one thing that Drake taught me in our relationship was that people are not as they seem. Like, people will only befriend you when you have something. And now you need to understand that when I met Drake, I was 21 and he was like 30. So he had a lot more experience. Like, he told me his story of coming here to Johannesburg and basically what the city kind of did to him, right? And now the kind of family setup where I come from, my dad has always, like, he's always shied me away from the city and the city lights and anything that has to do with being in the popular crowd, which is one of the reasons why I don't hang around with popular people. Like, I can know them and we can chill once or twice, but I will never actively call you up and hang out with you because I don't see any value in it, right? So when I met him, I was really young and he was much older. So he would always tell me, like, dude, these people are not as they seem. These people only want you around when they know they have something to gain from you. And he would always say that, and I'd be like, but then why are you still friends with these people? You know what I mean? And it'd always like be on some, he was never like a cutthroat person. He was always like a understanding, give you a second chance, but be very wary. Like, he knew his boundaries. I was the, if I cut you off, I cut you off. But if I forgive you, I will keep giving you the same chance without being cautious of the person you've been to me. So for my forgiveness is unconditional. His was. So he could forgive you and hang out with you, but he would never trust you again. But if I could forgive and hang out with you, I'd trust you as well I trusted you the first time. So it'd always be like, Naledi, your naivety is gonna be your downfall. And I was like, bitch, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Until this one fateful day. Hi! So then in 2018-19, our relationship took a plummet, bro. Like, he was just moving around wild and like I had made my own mistakes, whatever. Well, he just wasn't seeing the girl anymore. He wasn't feeling the girl. He was feeling the limelight. Like, you remember that thing I told you about having another phone and things like that? Like, he was moving messy. And then I met this girl. And for story's sake, I'm gonna call her Cruella. Because what she did was cruel. And I'm finally telling the story because I've made peace with it. But then I met Cruella, and I had seen Cruella in previous spaces, but actually, let me not lie, I hadn't seen Cruella in previous spaces. Cruella and I used to interact on social media, and Instagram to be specific. I used to follow Cruella first. So now, it was the same setup with Cruella, where I followed her on Instagram, and she followed me back, followed each other, and I don't even remember she followed me back, but I remember I would comment on all her stuff because she was really nice and she was pretty, and you know, I was into that because I guess being the loser in my life for so long, first of all, I'm a hype woman, generally. So if you're pretty, I'm gonna hype you up. And I always comment on your stuff, I always engage. Like, I'll never shy away from saying you're beautiful without having to think, she probably thinks I'm desperate or whatever for her attention or whatever. So her and I would interact on Instagram. So then we slowly kind of built a friendship from that. And then I got in Goa, and I mean, when I go, I can't hide it. So you could see through my stories, you could see through like my lack of posts. Like, I was just in a dark place. And at the time that all of that was happening, Drake and I were just going through something, obviously, that was, you know, really bad. I don't know what to say. Am I supposed to say it? We're going through something really bad that affected me, and that's something that happened between us and it affected me, and then I had to make a decision whether I wanted this thing to be with me or not for the rest of my life. There it is. I even remember at that time, I was working in Jamestown at this other company, and when I tell you that every single day of working at that company, and it was only 6 months, it was hell, because every time I went to work, I never trusted the fact that this guy was not cheating. Like, he would do funny things and whatever, right? So, and let me also put this key factor in. My friends started turning their backs on me because now my friends started seeing Drake for the bum that he was. And then every time they try to tell me how, dude, why are you staying with this guy? Like, he's abusing you in all ways, shapes, or form. Like, mentally, emotionally, physically. Why are you with him? I couldn't answer because I guess my self-esteem was in such a dark place. My mind was in such a dark place. I'd like to believe that my personality has a lot to do with why I stay with someone, because I'm like, we ride together, we die together, and I mean that in every single aspect. But the older I've become, the more I've realized how stupid that term is. But I mean, you can ride together and die together if you marry me, please, I beg, like, baby, I love you. But at that time, I was too young to be devoting myself to someone who was literally breaking my spirits. And my family only found out towards the end. And it's one of the things that I hate talking about on social media, because a lot of people will come at me for this guy and they don't understand the abuse I was subjected to, let alone other people. And it's like year after year, I keep unraveling new things from different people about the abuse they were subjected to from this particular person. So this is just really uncomfortable to talk about, but that's not what we're talking about. So at that time, me and this guy, we were going through it, and then I started telling Cruella. I would tell Cruella my ID. The onion went in my nose. This guy is breaking my spirits. I would needed to leave work early. I would have to go to a doctor. I had to get sleeping pills. Like, rock bottom, guys. Like, I know rock bottom because a man put me there. I remember one day at work, I don't know, someone on Twitter, like a ghost account, sent me something about this guy and another woman while I was at work. So I started crying. I called Cruella. I started breaking down to Cruella, telling her everything that I'm going through, telling her that no, this guy did 1 2 3 4 5, this guy does 1 2 3. So we started crying on the phone like friends, you know, like I genuinely thought she had my back. So that day, I even remember it was a Tuesday, she was like to me, you know what, dude, let's hit the club. Let's actually get this nigga out your system, because that's exactly what you need to do. And I'm like, oh word, I'm keen. She's like, no, let's go to this specific club on a Thursday. I'm like, okay. Alright, so we go. Alright, Thursday comes, guys. I know the plan is still on. The mission is still missioning. I remember that day we were talking about sleepovers. I was like to her, no, it's fine. You can come sleep at my place and I'll take you home next day, whatever, whatever, whatever. And we were good. It was fun. Thursday comes, the afternoon gets here. I even remember trying to find out where she was, but she just went a little bit MIA-ish. And I'm like, okay. But we were still going to this club, to the Devil's Place. High five, it hits like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So I asked her, dude, are we still going to the Devil's Den or what? She's like, yeah, dude, we can go. And the thing is, now I don't frequent that club because I don't know why. I just don't frequent that club. The clubs that I really used to like, and I'll say them with my chest, were the only club that I would frequent was Taboo. And then I only liked like bars and lounges, so like records. I don't like anything too dark because first of all, my eyesight can't comprehend that shit. You know, can't comprehend that shit. Like I can't see a damn thing. So I didn't like that specific club because it was dark. And that darkness is what prohibited me from losing my shit that night. The grace of the darkness. Now it's time to go. She calls me, she's like to me, no, listen, let's meet at the club at like around 10:30. Because now we were talking to people to get us in, guest list. I even remember that day. We were talking to the people that we normally talk to for guest list. So now this parking of this particular club, it goes down like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. How? So now I'm going, I go in, I drive in. I go first level down, then I go second level, then I find a parking. So I don't know why that particular day I decided to park in reverse. I don't know if I was feeding myself or what, but I decided to park in reverse. And then when I get there, I park in reverse, I switch off my car, I start calling her. Because now I'm not gonna get out the car and walk. I'm walking there to who? I don't know anyone. I just got invited to by Cruella and her friend because they said they were Ubering there. Hi. Ma, when I was busy calling them while they were Ubering there trying to find out where they were, they just went MIA for like 20 minutes. Then eventually she calls me, she's like, hey, I'm by the door. I'm like, okay, I'm coming. But before she calls me and she tells me she's by the door, I hear the rumble of a particular vehicle. And I'm like, fuck. Now you're probably asking yourselves why I said fuck, right? You know when you've been conditioned to believe that everything you do is wrong? We were broken up at that time, but the last thing I wanted was to see this person when I'm trying to not think about seeing this person. I even heard his car before I saw it. I was like, fuck. I even knew what car he was driving. I was like, fuck. So now, because I know all the number plates, it drives down. And then when it gets to the next curve, I think the person sees my number plates, if he even recognizes it, because he yielded a little bit, but then he kept driving. But I actually don't think they noticed me. They kept quiet. Or maybe they did, I don't know. Because it was him and his friends in the car. Yo, getting to the story, it's a mess. So fine. Then I try not to think about it. I'm like, we broke up. If he's here at the club, I'm also here at the club. We all at the club together. But he's gonna be that side, I'm gonna be that side. And I think nothing of it. I'm not even thinking to tell her. But I go and I tell Cruella, I'm like, dude, I think Drake is here. And she's like, what? I'm like, I saw a particular car driving and I know my man's car. And she's like, bro, don't think about it. It's probably not him. I'm like, okay, yeah, you've got a point. I'm walking. And then Cruella, guys, Cruella could have gotten me. Something bad could have happened to me that night if I hadn't seen through Cruella's actions. Cruella puts me, so that's me, Cruella, and Cruella's friend. Now Cruella came with Cruella's friend in the Uber, right? We get there, and I remember I wasn't even in a mood to drink because now that I had seen Drake's car, and I was sure it was Drake's car. I don't know why. Something in me was just like, yeah. Cruella's like to me, no, we're gonna come back right now. So we sit with these other guys that she knows, but she doesn't know that well. Like, I think she knew those guys because they obviously fancied her in that regard. So these guys are sitting, and I even remember they were buying Hennessy, and we couldn't even get a place to sit inside VIP. So fine, so now we're sitting there, we're trying to get comfortable. It's not in the most comfortable space, and now I'm very pedantic about things like this. When I go to the club, I call people. Like, if I go to Maja, I call. If I go to Zone 6, whatever, I call. Because I hate this thing of not having a place to sit. I hate it. I've even gotten to a point where I understand that if I'm gonna go out with my girls, we all put money aside, we buy a bottle so that we can have a place to sit. Because I wear heels and I don't like looking like a lost puppy. I just don't. So, okay, fine. We sit now. We're right by the passage. We're sitting. Now, Cruella and friend are edgy, man. They're walking around. They're coming back. And they're doing this. They're doing that. I'm sitting with the guys. You know, I'm chilling with the guys. I'm chillington. I'm even talking to one of the other guys. Like, he's spitting game, but I'm not buying his thing. Because now, you know. Yeah, I lied about finishing this burger. It's overwhelming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the cheese thing. Cruella comes up to me, and this is after 30 minutes that we've been inside. Now we're seated. Cruella comes up to me and she's like, listen, friend and I, we're coming back right now. We're gonna go greet some friends. I'm like, how can I come with you? Because I mean, I'm young, I don't know these guys, like, you know. So she left me with these guys, and the one guy was so she left me with these guys, and I'm like, dude, you can't leave me here. Like, you guys know them. I don't even know these guys. She's like, no, we're gonna be right back. We promise we're gonna be right back. Give us 5-10 minutes. I'm like, okay. So I sit there 5-10 minutes. I'm on my phone, I'm chilling. I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to suss out if this car that I saw is Drake's car. Now I'm trying to check Drake's stories through my ghost accounts. She comes back 2 minutes later with a bottle of champagne. And she hands it to me. I'm like, why? Because now Harry offered me Hennessy. So I'm like, I can't take that champagne. Harry offered me Hennessy. So I just take it and hold it. And she was adamant that I take it and I hold it with my hand. I'm like, why the fuck am I holding this bottle with my hand? Where did you get it? Why is it open? Why does it have a light underneath? And why are you forcing me to hold it? So now I'm very paranoid. I'm paranoid about being spiked. I'm paranoid about being trafficked. I'm paranoid about anything. So I keep myself out of harm's way at all times. The only time I become, what do you call this thing? What do you call this thing on Transformers? That blue car. When I come in, is when I'm with my man. Other than that, you will never catch me slipping. Fine, that particular night, I wasn't trying to be slipping because I was trying to watch if Drake was in the club. Strike two. I see one of Drake's friends. And I'm like, "What funala?" He's like, "How when now funala?" And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, okay, take, you hold it. Let's just get glasses. So we walk around. I don't know what she was doing. Then she didn't find glasses. Like, no, you drink it out the bottle. We'll go get glasses. Like, friend and I. I'm like, but something in my head. I drink it once and then I just hold it. Like, So at some point I decide to go to the bathroom. Now tell me what happens when I go to the bathroom. Now this particular bathroom is right next to a booth of some sort. Walk into the bathroom, it's dark, you know? But a particular table is lit up. The bottles are lighting up that section, right? Because they put the lights underneath. This happens to be the same bottle that I'm holding in my hand. I go to the reps and I see Drake. So I'm like, so now obviously in the sec there's girls, there's guys. Come on out, guys, it's packed. It's nice, it's nice, it's nice. So I'm like, so now I'm calculating what's going on. Because that particular night, Drake had 5 of these specific bottles, and it wasn't like the random ones that are like dark on the outside, you can't see. It was those clear ones. When you light up, they light up the color. So I'm like, okay. So I walk to the bathroom and I walk back. And I'll go back to Krilla. I'm like, where did you get this bottle? So I'm like, where did you get this bottle? Now her tolerance was way lower than mine at the time. So after that, I stopped drinking, period. I was pissed because I knew exactly what was going on. But I also wasn't sure if maybe Drake told her to give me a bottle because he had probably seen me and went up to her and said, oh, is Naledi with you? Give her this. Because then why would she have been so adamant? Why wouldn't she have kept it for herself? You know what I mean? So I'm like, and he's done that before. That's the thing. Like, he's seen me in public with other friends, and my friends will come to me and say, hey dude, Drake said we must give you this. Or like, people will come to me at a club and be on some, dude, Drake said you must have this, and put bottles in my face, right? I mean, thank you, baby. Thank you for the special treatment. No. So I'm like, does he still love me? But I'm also thinking, fuck that nigga. Fuck the fucking nigga. I hate him. Okay, fine. But now, I'm not calculating what's going on here. I'm getting calculating. But so what do? I chill, I hang 10, I find Cruella and friend drink the bottle. Then after that, we ended up moving to another side because I didn't want to be in line of sight with Drake. I knew he was there at the club. I had figured it out. I did the math. I saw him. I saw who he was sitting with. I even remember those guys because I still talk to 2 of them today. I saw who we were sitting with and I was just like, you know what? I can't do this. Like, nah. So we moved to the other side and then eventually it was time to go. And then Cruella saw some other guy that she had a thing with. So she was like, alright guys, let's all go. So that guy comes with his friends. So I'm gonna call Peter and Paul. Peter and Paul, I also know Peter and Paul in my own individual right. So I know Peter and Paul they're cool guys, they're sharp. So Peter and Paul are like, nah guys, let's all go get Ndichos. You know the vibes with Ndichos. So now there's 5 of us, right? There's 5 of us, there's 2 cars. One is me. The other one is Peter, Paul, Cruella, and friend. Now Cruella and friend conveniently decided to go with Peter and Paul. They're like, no, we'll get in with them. But I know that Peter obviously wanted Cruella, and Paul was just like obviously wingmanning to the friend. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll follow you guys. Now bear in mind that I'm seething. I'm angry. Like nothing in me wants to drink. Everything in me wants to go pull out the bottles over there. But I can't because we broke up. And now I have to watch him and act like it doesn't matter. But I'm still thinking about it and not even thinking about the bottle situation. So we get to Ndichos. And we get to Ndichos, me, Peter, and Paul get out the car. Now Cruella and friend are like, puss. Me, Peter, and Paul are standing in there and I'm like, guys, did you see Drake? And they're like, yeah, man, yeah. So we're all having chats, like we're just chilling, we're laughing. I'm like, guys, I know I saw Drake. So now I'm explaining the story to them. I'm like, guys, I had a bottle of champagne in my hand. And I know that champagne came from Drake because after I saw that, when I walked back to the table, I walked around the club to make sure that this didn't come from anybody else that could have been potentially connected to Cruella. But the possibility was there, so we're leaving that there. This is where the drama starts to go down. Cruella comes out the car. Cruella. Guys, basabeni. Cruella comes out the car. Boos walks up to us inside and Dicho's and says, guys, she's holding her phone and it's unlocked and she's like, Boos. So she's like stumbling. She's like, guys, some guy named Drake is texting me asking me to come to his house. I saw Paul's eyes go zuh. You know when someone says something, go, you know? So Peter was like, yeah. So Peter was like, aye. Because she obviously said his name. And I was like, who? And now this is like now 3 in the morning, guys. It's 3 in the morning. It's going on 4. We're laughing now. I've slowly gotten Drake out of my system. She's like, guys, some guy's named Drake is texting me, asking me to come to his house. I'm like, who? It's like, Drake. So then she walks to the car and guys, got hectic after that. So I took her phone out of her hand because her phone is still unlocked and I saw Drake's name on Instagram. Yo, if Peter and Paul went there, guys, I'd be in jail. Cause now I'm reading and now I can see that this is a DM between her and Drake. And now she's right. That part she was correct about. He was saying, no, come to my house. And I'm like, the Hulk in me was hulking. I was like, you have got me all the way effed up. You know, you understand. So then Peter took Cruella and friend, put them in the car, went back to his place. Paul stayed with me. Paul and I start talking. Now Paul is now telling facts. Now Paul's spitting facts. Like, hey, dude, hey, me, I don't know what you heard, but Drake has been messing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. I'm like, I mean, I know about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but where does 8, 9, 10, and 11 come from? It's like, bro, it's getting tricky and tricky and sticky and sticky and sticky, you know? It was getting tricky, guys. And that was like the weekend or the week Drake and I broke up. About 3 weeks or a month later, Drake obviously cried love back. Sure, no problem. Not that he really cried love back, dude, but like, you know what? When women belong to the streets, we belong to the streets. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I was at a point where I was still very much devoted to him. And I guess he could tell who was the easiest link. I can always fuck around and go back to Naledi. You understand? Because I was there with open arms, ready to love him. And a condition of me taking him back was that he gets me a puppy. Woo, guys. Then there was a day where we actually sat down to speak because I really needed clarity. So then, because I wasn't sure, every time I asked her, she was like, no. Hi, okay, cool. So we met up and I asked him, like, dude, that bottle that I had that night in my hand with you, was it yours? He was like, yup. I'm like, I asked him, did you know it was coming to me? He was like, it was yours. I made specific instructions that it must be given to you in your hand. So I'm like, oh, then that makes fucking sense. I'm like, in the midst of still hurting my feelings, you're still looking out for me. But essentially, I asked him that day, I was like, dude, did that bottle belong to you? And he was like, no, it did. And I was like, did you specifically, did you give it to me? Like, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 happened. He's like, yes, I made specific instructions. And I'm like, okay, so what's the situation between you and this hand? Guys, I had missed out on a lot. The message that I saw at the bottom, I had missed out on a week-long conversation. I was supposed to scroll up. I was supposed to do this. Screenshot. What's up? Send, delete, Kumagui. But I didn't. But the thing is, Drake obviously came clean and he showed me the chats because obviously he wanted me back, dude. I mean, I'm amazing. No, but he obviously told me the truth because he was like, dude, I made some mistakes, But I'm gonna tell you right now, this girl's she's taking for a boost. She wanted me and she's been asking me to take her to lunch. I'm like, guys, you see something about the world, it's stone cold. Now the question you're probably asking is, did I take him back after that? Of course I did. I wanted a puppy, the fuck? So that's my story on influencer friendships, and that's why I advise you stay away from influencer friendships, or don't befriend people out of some sort of admiration or some sort of, oh my god, just being seen with you would be so amazing. I've literally shied away from influencers because of that particular story, and I never thought I would tell the story on my channel, but I don't know what pushed me to get to a point to tell the story without getting upset all over again, or without feeling like I was singing for a boost. So that's my little story on influencer friendships, and that's why you don't befriend girls that look good on the gram, because probably high-key chances are they're not good on the gram. But no, I've really met some really nice people on the gram, and I've made good friendships with them. And I'll always be a hype woman. One thing about me, I will always hype up beautiful women on Instagram. That's the one thing about me, I'm gonna tell you that. That is the end of my little story time. I hope that you learned something about, well, at least about my personal experiences with influencers, or why I stay away from them, or even when I'm around them, I don't really advocate for a friendship because of what I've been through. But that doesn't mean to say that all influencers are like that. You know, that's literally my personal experience with one influencer. Some influencers could be really amazing, and I really am looking forward to meeting more genuine people like myself in this space, because it is time that people just started being themselves and not working so hard to be something that they're not. Because I feel like the influencer space only made room for us to be perfect and prim and pretty and this and that, when in actual fact, you can still be an influencer and be your motherfucking self. Can I get an amen? Yo, Burger King. Now you did a damn thing here. No guys, I didn't finish it, but I ate a lot of it. This is literally what's left. Anyway guys, that is it. If I have to rate the Burger King burger, I would definitely give it a 12 out of 10. This thing is so delicious. Please do make sure to go try it out when you get a chance, because wow, Gift gave me, this is the best meal I've had tonight. This is the best mukbang I've actually had since the seafood boil. So yeah, I'm feeling really fulfilled. Thank you so much guys for watching the story time. Please make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me how you feel about it. Tell me what you also think about your experience with influencers. But until then, please make sure to share this video. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next mukbang. Bye.